This is Overheard Nation, where America's forgotten secrets come to light. Ready to uncover the truth? The sun climbed, painting endless fields. Hues of gold, then amber, stretched across the vast expanse. The Campbell family lived by the land. Generations had tilled this fertile soil. Their lives moved with the rhythms of nature. They rose with dawn. They worked until dusk. Simple labor defined them. The land was more than mere property. It was a living entity, a legacy passed down through time. It held the faint whispers of ancestors. It promised future harvests. Their farmhouse, weathered by countless seasons, stood as a stark testament. It reflected their enduring connection, their quiet, pastoral existence. But then, a new sound. It began to pierce the tranquility. Distant at first, a faint tremor. It grew steadily louder, a rhythmic clang. Hammers struck steel. The hiss of steam escaped. A piercing whistle. Locomotives cried out. Ribbons of steel stretched across the vast American landscape. They were being laid relentlessly, forever altering the contours of the cherished land, changing the lives of those upon it. These iron arteries, they were symbols of a surging nation. They promised progress and connection. Yet to John Campbell, a man deeply rooted in the very earth, these sounds brought unease, a gnawing premonition. He sensed disruption, a profound shift. A colossal force gathered momentum. It threatened their quiet way of life. It grew, threatening to engulf everything. Their tranquil world. 5 paragraphs so far. John watched from his porch. His gaze swept across his fields. He lingered on distant smoke plumes. They stained the once pristine horizon. His brow furrowed with worry. The very ground beneath their feet, their cherished inheritance, now it was seen differently. A mere commodity, a resource to be exploited by a new breed of men, powerful, ruthless. He felt the weight, an unseen hand pressing down, an inevitable wave of change. It threatened to wash away everything his family had ever known. Their history, their future, all seemed poised for oblivion. John stood on the porch. His gaze swept across the fields. Then it lingered on distant smoke plumes. They stained the horizon, once pristine, now tainted. His brow furrowed with deepening worry. The land, their family legacy, it was changing, its very meaning. Now, the earth was merely a commodity, a raw resource for new men, powerful men, men who saw only profit, not history, not life. John felt the pressure, an unseen hand bearing down, an inevitable wave of change. It rolled relentlessly, threatening to wash away everything his family had ever known, their existence itself. Miles away, a world apart, New York City, a sprawling mansion, opulence defined it. Inside, William Vanderbilt III surveyed his empire, his burgeoning empire. It was vast, intricate, built on ambition. Polished mahogany gleamed, glimmering brass reflected power. His study was a fortress of numbers, of ledgers, of strategic acquisitions. Coal, steel, a vast web of railroads. These were the sinews of his growing power. Each venture, it expanded his reach, it deepened his pockets. He saw the American landscape a giant chessboard. Every calculated move promised more, greater influence, limitless wealth. For him, that was the game. People, they were mere cogs in a colossal machine, a grand industrial design. Their lives reduced to simple resources, to be moved, to be utilized, to be consumed, all for his plan, for his vision of progress. John Campbell. He stood as the undisputed hero of an old world. His hands, calloused and strong, spoke volumes. They clung to the very soil. They upheld tradition. The land was not a mere commodity. It was a sacred trust, a deep, abiding faith. His son, Thomas, a younger generation, he was brimming with ambition. Young eyes saw a different future. He felt the weariness, the relentless toil of the farm. He saw beyond the dirt, beyond the endless labor. Thomas saw a chance, a brilliant opportunity. It shimmered in Vanderbilt's bold offers. A way out, a new path, a path his father could not see. He yearned for more, for comfort, for potential. William Vanderbilt III, the undisputed chief aggressor. He commanded armies of men. He moved mountains of coal. He saw only numbers, only cold, hard power. His world was absolute, his will supreme. His son, Robert, a keen student, he learned at his father's knee, absorbing every lesson, in ruthlessness, in cold calculation. He saw the world through his father's eyes, a chessboard of acquisition. But there was another, Anna Vanderbilt, the daughter. She lived amidst splendor, yet she saw past the gleam, past the luxury. She saw truth, a harsh truth, injustice. It gnawed at her. Her conscience cried out. And Elizabeth Campbell, John's daughter, she watched the silent fracturing of her family, a painful rift. She saw her father, her brother, pulled apart. She felt helplessness, a profound despair. Their worlds, vastly different, separated by miles, by philosophy. Collision, it was inevitable. Vanderbilt, insatiable. His appetite for expansion grew. He began acquiring land systematically. land surrounding the Campbell homestead. His burgeoning coal empire demanded more territory, more resources. He did not hesitate. For Vanderbilt, this was a transaction, a shrewd business deal, another necessary step in the relentless march of progress, a simple calculation of profit and expansion, no more. But for the Campbells, the land was not a business. It was their very existence, their past, their present, their future. The impending transaction represented no profit. It was a direct threat to their livelihood, to their identity. An oppressive quiet settled over Campbell family dinners. The usual easy chatter, it vanished, replaced by the clinking of cutlery, the rustle of plates, punctuation, heavy sighs. News from the distant markets, it brought only despair. Crop prices plummeted, their tireless efforts rendered almost futile. Debts, once manageable, now they swelled. They cast a long shadow over their home. Whispers echoed from town. New times, inevitable progress. Carried by salesmen, by merchants, each word a chilling reminder of a changing world. Then they came, the polished gentlemen from the Vanderbilt Corporation. Their initial politeness, a thin veil, offering to buy the land. It steadily hardened into relentless insistence. Their presence unyielding, a growing force. John Campbell stood firm. His weathered hands, hardened by decades of labor, gripped the edge of the kitchen table. He believed deeply in his chosen path, in the very earth beneath his feet. It had nourished his family for generations. Its roots ran deep, entwined with every furrow, every sunrise. The land was sacred, not a commodity. To sell it meant surrendering his soul, abandoning his family's principles, their very essence. But his son, Thomas, he saw a different truth. The farm, it was a cage, suffocating. He yearned for another life, comfort, boundless potential. Where his father saw imminent danger, Thomas saw opportunity, unfettered, a grander future. The chasm between their visions, it grew wider with each passing day. Tension mounted. Thomas moved in shadows, secretly. He sought out Vanderbilt's agents. He listened. Their promises of industrial might, of technological marvels. He saw no adversaries, only benefactors, holding a key to unimaginable wealth, a magic of new technology. The sheer scale of Vanderbilt's empire, it seized his mind. For him, these men, they represented the future, its very core. The Vanderbilt coal mines. They advanced, unstoppably, towards the Campbell farm. Each day brought clamor, louder, the rhythmic thud of machinery, the shouts of men, the ground-shaking roar of dynamite blasts. The earth trembled beneath their feet, a constant vibration, unsettling. Black coal dust, it descended like a perpetual shroud, obscuring the sky once clear. It settled on everything, clinging to leaves, staining the farmhouse walls. Crops, once vibrant, promising, they withered. They died, suffocated by pervasive grime. Clear streams, they had fed the fields, now flowed sluggish, murky, tainted by runoff from the expanding mines. John Campbell watched in despair. His world, a world built on the land's purity, it disintegrated slowly before his eyes. He fought back with the only weapons he possessed, penning heartfelt letters to distant authorities, pleading his case to anyone who would listen. Yet his solitary voice, it was swallowed by the deafening roar of industrial progress. Unheard, unheeded. William Vanderbilt III, he remained unmoved. The farmers' protests mere background noise. He focused only on graphs, their relentless upward curve. Growth, numbers, unbridled power. These were his metrics, the only ones that mattered. The individual fates of farmers, their connection to the land, they held no consequence in his grand schemes. His son, Robert, always at his side, he absorbed these lessons keenly. He learned, in this new world, compassion was a weakness. Brutal resolve, that was the ultimate strength. The public be damned, that was the creed for men like Vanderbilt. Public opinion? To hell with it. Thomas, he was torn between family and a new life, the farm on the brink of ruin. A heavy choice. He made it. He sold a portion of ancestral land to Vanderbilt, a desperate hope to avert total financial collapse. The news, it shattered John. Rage, righteous, betrayal. A deep, gaping rift between father and son. The family broken. Elizabeth, John's daughter, she watched the tragedy unfolded. Two worlds colliding. Her father's deep reverence for tradition, industry's unstoppable force, the future shrouded in uncertainty. She wrestled with helplessness. She longed to bridge the chasm, to mend fractured bonds, but understood the forces too immense, beyond their grasp. A portion of the Campbells, they left, their familiar fields for the city's unforgiving sprawl, drawn by a grim promise, work in Vanderbilt's booming factories. The transition, a physical blow. The air, once crisp, now thick with coal smoke, industrial waste. A cacophony, shrieking whistles, grinding machinery, the constant rumble of urban life. It replaced the gentle sounds of the countryside. Their rural simplicity, it clashed violently with the brutal reality of the industrial centers. Long days, back-breaking, in deafening conditions. Their new norm, a stark contrast to farm life. Low wages. They barely covered rent for cramped lodgings. The ever-present danger of machines, it loomed over every worker. Thomas's early enthusiasm, it dissolved into bitter disillusionment. He saw the widespread destitution of his fellow laborers. He grasped a harsh truth. Vanderbilt's immense wealth, not built on innovation alone, but on relentless, exploited toil of countless others. Back on the family land, John remained, a solitary figure, surrounded by the ever-expanding maw of the mines. The once vibrant fields, now scarred, encroached upon. They mocked his defiance. He was a relic, the last of his kind, clinging to a dying way of life. The world roared past. His wife, Sarah, she stayed by his side, a steadfast presence, offering quiet strength, unwavering support. Yet her heart ached with sadness for their children, swallowed by the city's grim anonymity. She often wondered, had they traded one hardship for an even greater one? Robert Vanderbilt, William's son, his ascent into the business began. Confidence grew. An air of calculated ruthlessness mirrored his father. He observed closely, absorbing every lesson in power, in manipulation. He witnessed firsthand how easily people bent to one's will, their desperation exploited for greater profit. Cold pride swelled within him, satisfaction in raw, unyielding strength. He wielded it. Across the city, Anna Vanderbilt, in stark contrast to her brother, she delved deeper into pervasive social injustices. The glittering world of her birth, it felt hollow, increasingly false. Driven by unease, unshakable, she sought out union meetings. Her delicate attire, a jarring sight among weary faces. She spoke, listened intently to their stories, hardship, exploitation, despair. Their suffering, it became her own. Her father's immense wealth, not genius, she saw. It was direct result of human exploitation. A burning need for justice ignited within her. It urged her to seek answers, to right the wrongs she witnessed. The Campbell family story, it was a battle for the very soul of America. This was not merely a tale of farmers and industrialists. It was a stark chronicle of relentless progress. Its true price, human, familial, spiritual, a cost exacted on every level. This narrative served as a chilling mirror for their world and for our own. It laid bare a harsh truth, how easily immense wealth, unchecked power, could crush individuality, time-honored traditions, how quickly they could be rendered obsolete. Yet, the story also revealed something else, how resistance was born,
not in strength, but in desperation, in shared suffering, in profound compassion. A quiet defiance, it began to stir. The truth about the price of progress, it fought to emerge, to be heard. Even through thick smoke, through pervasive coal dust, it broke through, slowly, relentlessly, a quiet reckoning. So, what do you believe? Was this progress truly inevitable? Was its human cost fully justified? Or did society, did humanity, simply forget the profound lesson of this epic battle between the enduring spirit of the land and the unyielding might of steel?
The world is full of forgotten stories, and even more shocking secrets await you. Subscribe to Overheard Nation,